All right, the next question is, which is most important to your organization? Mission, core values, or vision?
For me, it's going to be vision, just because that's where the birth of an organization, maybe it's a nonprofit, maybe it's a company, really originates from. So if you have a vision of what you want that to be, whether it's a nonprofit and you want to change the way that the world responds to natural disasters, or whether it's a company and you want to see a specific industry operate in a completely different way. You want to come at it from a completely different angle. Vision is where things are born. Obviously, the mission and the core values are something that are a part of the foundation that are set in the beginning. But at the end of the day, you're nothing without the vision. You're nothing without the next goal,
Step.
the next vision. Visions change. They change every year. They change every month. It just depends on how you're meeting those goals and how the company is sitting financially, with employees. So for me, it's really about that vision and where you want to go at the end of the day.
Yeah, cool. Next one is, do you set aside specific times to cast vision to your employees or other leaders?
So for me, not specific. I know a lot of corporate leaders like to do it at quarterly meetings. Um, they like to, update their employees on where the company is headed and how far to the goal they have. For me, it's really a daily thing. It's everybody should know what's happening with the vision. Everybody should know where the company is going and um, what the vision of the leadership is. So if it's changing in some way, it needs to be updated. It needs to be told very rapidly to the employees, as long as it's going to be a positive thing that the employees can get behind. So for me, it's not necessarily that there's specific times, but that it should be all the time.
Yeah, cool. Alrighty. Um, let's see. I might skip a question or two here. How do you ensure your organization and its activities are aligned with your core values?
Repeat the question one more time.
How do you ensure your organization and its activities are aligned with your core values?
It's really about creating an atmosphere of accountability. Um, Transparency is something that is not necessarily um, widely implemented in corporate America. There's always, the small language or the fine print, and at the end of the day, it needs to be very transparent that the core values are something that are to not be deviated from. And so, if the core values are honesty, integrity, when things come up where an employee is not being or is not acting in a way that would exhibit good integrity, there needs to be consequences. And it's really just about setting the expectation from the very beginning. So when you're building an organization, building a company, building a nonprofit, these are the expectations. When you're bringing people on to help, these are the expectations. This is what we expect from you. This is who we are. This is the transparency of this company. And you really just ingrain it into them. And so for orientation, a lot of employees will come in and it's all about foundations. Where did this company come from? What do we want this company to be? And how does this company operate? If you deviate from any of those, you're going to be corrected or you're going to be terminated. And it's very simple. But sometimes you have to make the hard choices. And if it's something if there's a cancer in a company and it's deviating from those core values, it needs to be stopped. So expectations are pretty key to that.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. When faced with two equally qualified candidates, how do you determine whom to hire?
That is a great question. So for me, the way that I differentiate from people. As I look at community service, I look at what do they do outside of work? Well, who are they? I really dig into the references because I want to know more than just are they adaptable to the staff? Are they reliable? Do they come to work on time? Those are things, I mean, most people can do. So what sets you apart from other people? For me, it's really in the interview. I'm going to be asking, what do you do for fun? What do you what are the things that you're passionate about? And really just try and dig deep to find out, are they doing community service? I mean, that in itself is a pretty good indicator to the kind of employee that they are. If they're going to devote free time to serve others, they're going to be probably a very active employee that has good integrity and that wants to help, and it's going to be adaptable. So for me, it's really just about digging deep. Everybody's going to have a degree at some point, and you're going to find that you got to differentiate somehow, and it's really based on personality and what do they do? Who are they?
Yeah, for sure. All right. What is one characteristic that you believe every leader should possess?
One characteristic every leader possesses?
What should every leader? What is one characteristic? Yeah.
So, again, it's the only characteristic that I really define as true leadership, and that really is inspiring others. It's empowering them. It's giving them the tools to go out there and succeed. It is about making them come away from a situation, a company, a conference, whatever it is, with the feeling of they can do anything that they set their mind to. So, that quality in itself is going to take a leader very, very far. And obviously they need to back it up with substance, not just a lot of talk, but they need to, at the very minimum, be able to inspire people.
Yeah. Cool. Next one is, what is one mistake that you see other leaders making more and more frequently than others?
I think it's very, very easy to blur the line between leader and manager.
Yeah.
And we're all humans, and so when you blur the line into the manager role, and you stop inspiring them because of your own personal pressures from maybe the rung above you on the corporate ladder, your employees, your volunteers are going to resent you because obviously there's one thing about keeping people accountable, but there's another thing about losing the ability to value and validate people, because at the end of the day, people don't necessarily do jobs for money. They don't volunteer for money. They volunteer and do jobs with the hopes that they will be validated and valued. And at the end of the day, that's where satisfaction really lies. So when they go home, yeah, they might have a nice paycheck, but they feel valued, that their superior knows that they are doing the very best that they can for the team.
Yeah, make them feel more like a person rather than a number in the system.
Right. Huge.
Yeah. Let's see. What is the impact that technology and like all this new technology is having on your organization or on you personally?
I think technology is great. It makes people very efficient. It cuts down time that would have normally been spent on possibly trivial things. However, the thing that technology does that is a detriment to leadership, to the team, is it disconnects people. I can easily send an email to all of the company and update them on our values, where the company's headed, our mission, maybe the core values have changed or we've added one specifically. But at the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything. Emails, technology, text messages are ways to be efficient. They're not ways to validate and value people and bring connection into the workplace or into the organization. Yeah. So Technology is great. It does a lot of things that we should be grateful for, but it should not be a substitute for going and taking an employee out and having coffee and speaking life into what they're doing for the organization, or just going to their desk and saying, "Hey, I really appreciate the hard work that you've done today." It means more if you do that in person than if you just do it through an email.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. What are a few resources you would recommend to someone looking to gain insight into becoming a better leader?
I mean, for me, it's going back to technology. It's using technology, the internet, books, Kindle books, anything that you possibly can, TED Talks. Every person is going to discover that their leadership style is not necessarily the same as the person next to them.
Yeah.
So it's really about discovering who you are as a leader, and the best resource for that is really just researching it. And it's about finding out about the leadership styles that there are in people and implementing it. You can be a leader whether you are a Fortune 500 CEO or you decide that you want to feed the homeless in San Diego. You can be a leader by gathering a group of people that are united with one common goal, and you inspire them to to get something done, to feed the homeless in San Diego, to clean up the beaches in La Jolla. I mean, it's just really endless on the amount of things that you can do. But at the end of the day, research and implementing what you've learned is really going to be the key to developing your own personal leadership style.
Yeah. Yeah.